Final segment on our 2018-19 season preview. Time for some predictions. Who wins NBA MVP?
I'm going to go Kawhi Leonard. I just think that he's going to Toronto. He's very quiet. I think last year the whole league, the way the whole league perceived him bothered him. It would, because I mean, he never says a word. He never defends himself. He doesn't say a word. There was more stuff coming out of San Antonio last year. And I just think he's got something to prove. He's going to be one of those silent assassins that's going to go out there every single night. And I think Toronto's going to, they may not have a better record than they had last year, but they'll be a better team, you know, and a better playoff team. Because Kawhi Leonard, to me, is about as good as it gets on a two-way player in our league, and I think he has something to prove. I hope he's healthy.
The silent part we know is going to be true.
Yes.
Yeah, that for sure.
I hope he's healthy.
I would say, I just think it will be somebody in the Eastern Conference. You know, I think between Harden, Westbrook, and LeBron, they will, and Anthony Davis, I think kind of equal each other out. Because I don't know if any of those teams will be able to separate themselves because of Golden State as well. So I'm going to go with Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving.
I'm going with Kyrie Irving.
I'm going to echo. I got two. I think Kevin Durant, I'll start with Kevin Durant. I think he wants to establish that he's the best player in the league.
Agreed.
And I think he'll come out with a mindset this year to really establish that. I think he wanted to fit in with Golden State. But now I think he's ready to show, like, okay, I can get 30, 35 a night. And I think he's going to go for that 30, 35 a night. And then Kyrie in the East, like you say, I think he's going to be the most dominant player in the East, because when I look at the point guard position in the East, he's it every single
Barbecue
night.
chicken.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when I look at that little fella doing his stuff, and then I don't see nobody stepping up defensively to challenge him. So that's why I say Kyrie or Durant.
Chris?
Yeah, I was definitely going to go with Kyrie. I was thinking that as soon as you asked the question. He's got all the tools around him. He's in a great system. He's got a great coach. He, like Isaiah was saying, the depth at point guard in the East, no disrespect to everybody, but it is not as deep as the West Coast. So that allows him to be able to rest sometimes on defense. And with the development of the young guys with Brown and Tatum, them getting another year under their belt, being on their own without him, I think him taking that step back, he can kind of see where he can affect the game better. And I mean, he's unguardable.
I agree with everyone here about Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, but I'm going to take a different approach. I think because, in Kyrie's case, the East is so weak and his team is so good that he won't have to be great every night for them to win. And I also think Kyrie's at an interesting point. I mean, first of all, he's had some durability issues. Missed last year. I thought last year he really felt like he had to prove. He wanted to prove that he could shine outside of LeBron James, away from his shadow. And I think he certainly did that and proved that. I think now he wants to win. And I think he realizes that I need to beat Golden State. And in order to beat Golden State, I need the guys around me to be at their best. So I wouldn't be surprised if his numbers aren't as gaudy as they could be. I also think Durant, they're so good. He doesn't have, I mean, he can average 35, but I don't know if he will. I don't know if he needs to. And so to say all that, I actually think, and I'm a little bit out on a limb on this, but I think I like Anthony Davis. And I don't think his team is going to be
on a limb. Just let me know.
No, what I'm saying, I mean, no, when I say that,
short limb.
No, but the reason I say that is because his team is still unsure how good they'll be. But I think getting rid of Boogie Cousins, now he can really flourish like he did at the end of the season in the postseason. They'll miss Rondo.
For sure.
They will miss Rondo, and that's where I don't know, are they a playoff team? Are they a sixth seed? I just think almost like it's time. Like, I feel like this guy has kind of quietly under the radar been so good. And if his team can be good, I know he's going to put up the numbers to be in that conversation. And I think Anthony Davis.
That's the question, right? If they don't make the playoffs, it's
right.
It just doesn't happen. You don't win MVP from
Well, I
outside
mean, in
the
his
postseason.
case, they've got to be third. They've got to have home court in the playoffs. I mean,
They're
that's just
going to be a playoff
Yeah.
team. I'd be shocked if New Orleans doesn't make the playoffs.
Well,
I think he's
are
that
they
good.
an eighth seed or they?
No, I honestly, I tell you what, I look at the West differently. I think New Orleans has got a chance to be, you know, get home court advantage. I really do. I mean, a lot of these teams out there haven't proven to me, no one here can sit here and say Oklahoma City's going to be this. We have no idea what they're going to be. No, it's hard to put what's Portland going to be. Are they? I mean, and I love him. I think that's a great pick. I mean, I love that kid. Sure. I love the way they play. They got rid of Boogie and they started getting up and down the floor. Yeah. I tell you what, some dudes I never heard of were getting off. I'm like, who's that dude? Like, you're on the internet punching them up, going like, damn, that guy came out of nowhere because just the way they played, you know. And so that I like.
But I also think it was a lot because of Rondo. They were playing that way too.
They'll miss Rondo, no question.
Chris, conference finalists, East and West.
East and West, I'm gonna go with. East, I'm gonna go with Boston, Philly. I mean, West, you got to go with Houston, and you know what? I'd rather see. You don't want to see. No disrespect to Houston, I know how guys get sometimes when you leave them out, but I want to see LA and the Warriors.
You want to see the Lakers?
Oh yeah, I want to see all the old school rivalry dudes come back out and get it going.
The Lakers and the Warriors?
Yeah, sure, why not?
There are no repercussions. That's true.
So how do guys get?
You know better than me. You know how that rivalry. You know, come on. Yeah. You know the rivalry runs deep, and especially West Coast basketball. Let's be frank. You know, there's some old school Warriors fans from the Run TMC days back in the 80s and 90s, and there's some Showtime Lakers fans from the 80s and 90s from back in the day as well. They're still there. There's still that rivalry there, and that's one of the things that we're missing, I think, in basketball right now. It's just two teams that just don't like each other, that go out there and compete. You know what it is when they hit the court.
Zeke, conference finalists.
In the East, I got Philly, Boston, throwback. And in the West, I got Golden State and whoever shows up.
Golden State, TBD.
Yeah, to be determined.
Whoever shows up.
You know, in the Western Conference, I think you're going to see, of course, Golden State, and I don't know if Houston's going to be as good as they were last year. I just don't know. It's easy to pick them, but I look and say, can there be a new team coming up? Can a Denver? Can one of these teams just take that next step up? Can Oklahoma City finally kind of get it together and play 10 games in a row good? I think that Toronto and Boston will play in the East. I do. I just am such a believer in Kawhi if he's healthy. Just his impact he has on the game in his quiet way, just defending everybody. I'm just a big fan of his, and I just think he's going to explode this year with a big year.
Kenny?
As great as he was in San Antonio, it was still, man, that damn system's pretty good too. So now it's Kawhi Leonard is imposing the system around him. And he has to take a mentality that LeBron takes when he's gone to Miami, when he's come back to Cleveland, which is, I don't think he's ever done or had to do. So I don't know if he's ready for that yet. So I can't give it to Toronto, and that's why I'm going to go Boston and Philadelphia in the East. Because Embiid and Ben Simmons, they know who they are.
Yep.
Right.
There's no doubt those two guys know who they are.
And Golden State
and to be determined.
I just don't know if Philly's ready yet. You know, I think we see the greatness in their young players, but they're still young. And I think there's still a lot of growing and maturing. And I think, now they have to deal with expectations. This time last year, we weren't talking about Philadelphia as a playoff team. And now we're putting them in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think Kawhi, in his quiet way, I don't care where you put him. I just feel like he's going to do what Kawhi does.
But granted,
and I don't mean they can win a championship.
No, I'm saying.
But I just think in terms of getting to the conference finals in a very weak Eastern Conference, I'd give Toronto the nudge over Philly.
I assume none of you has changed your Warriors pick?
No.
Well, then
Wait, anything happened in the last hour we don't know about? No. Okay, then we're good.
Just checking.
Nobody got traded. Nobody got hurt. All right, we good.
No, I think we're good. Fellas, nice job. Appreciate it. And we'll look forward to the 18-19 season. That'll do it for Open Court.
Breaking news, the big bombshell is dropped. LeBron James has agreed to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers.
That's very difficult when you come into a season with a bunch of young guys trying to figure out their roles.
These guys have to learn how to play with LeBron, but they also have to learn how to deal with the pressures that come along with it.
Biggest story of the offseason, obviously, LeBron James making the move out to Los Angeles, and there are a lot of factors for him. Strictly from a basketball point of view, what did you make of the fit?
Well, this will be different for him, honestly. I just believe. I know Chris played with him, so he might have a better insight. But I think when you play in a city in Miami, when you play in Cleveland, every game isn't on display. So being a great player he is, I'm sure it will elevate his game. But every game isn't critiqued, not by the media, by the fans. So that's a different environment to be in every day, where the fans, the people who love you, they critique every play. That's different. So he's going to have to, I think, adjust to that part where people who love him will not like him in the next hour, then love him again and not like him in the next hour. It's usually the media that does that, where he's been. I think the one thing that they do have an advantage, obviously his experience and everything else, but I was thinking about, when Chris sitting here, the year they put in the finals, they put him at 5 and they put you on the bench for the first year, I think. You came off the bench for like a couple of games, and he played the 5.
Coming back from injury. Yeah,
coming back from injury. And he played the 5. In the Western Conference, he could do that. He can move to the 5 and make those centers real uncomfortable.
Interesting. How do the teammates fit? You played with LeBron, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have an interesting bunch of guys. Rondo, the young guys. I think is handling how to be a Laker. I think for him, for LeBron, he's going to have to adjust from East Coast basketball to West Coast basketball because there is a difference. It is a lot faster. They're young guys. Are they going to be able to handle the spotlight? Because you know that thing changes, especially with a superstar like LeBron in LA. They're automatically going to be put on a pedestal. So are their young guys going to continue to get better? Are they going to compete every night? Are they going to go and earn their wins? And that's always a huge factor. You know, I think about like Kyle Kuzma. He has to have a good year because that scouting report, when that scouting report comes out, it's a totally different story.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of, tangibles that they have to deal with. But I think if they can put it together, it'll be very, very interesting. And just like you said, Kenny, LeBron at the 5, I mean, if they find the right 4 around that, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, who knows what they could do?
My first year I made the All-Star team, we in New Jersey, and, everybody's in the locker room joking around, laughing. And then Dr. J walked in, right? And when Dr. J walked in, everybody just kind of stopped laughing. He didn't say nothing, right? He just walked in the room, but everybody just kind of fell in place. So I look at, like, the chemistry of the team, with all the different, attitudes or whatever that they brought together. LeBron I think the biggest challenge for him, will he be able to blend the attitudes and the personalities together to make it one team, right? I think he has the ability to do that. But the second thing I think is going to be the most important thing for them, those young guys, right? And you can speak to this, the level of competition that they're getting ready to face every single night, right? Can they raise up and be competitive and compete at a high level for 82 games? Because you best believe for 82 games, right, everybody they play against, they gonna want to beat the hell out of them, right? and I don't know, I think LeBron's ready for that. I think Rondo's ready for that. The young guys, everybody else on that team, I don't know if they really understand what's getting ready to happen.
You can't be ready. You can't be ready.
Well, because they went through that whole thing. They're like, well, we played in the NBA. We play every night against these guys.
Right.
The difference is when you're on a good team and you played the Lakers last year, I don't have to come in with the same punch from door all the time.
Yeah.
Some nights, if I have it, we're going to come in from door and smack you in the mouth. But then even if we don't smack you in the mouth, we know at some point we have it. But when you're in LeBron James, Laker team now, we're coming in from door. You're seeing our best shot every time from door because we can't afford to let you hang around now. We can't let you have a 5-point game in the third quarter. No, we have to be already smacked you in the mouth. So
that's a championship. That's a different attitude that's very tough to pick up, though. To come in.
Young kids don't come in with that because they don't understand it. You're talking about LeBron. You know, LeBron playing the 5. LeBron scares me playing the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 and 7. I mean, that guy just plays basketball.
Right.
My biggest thing I think for him is he can allow those young guys to develop the way they need to develop.
Yeah.
Because man, there's like I came into a good team in the Celtics. They weren't saying go ahead and get 20, you rookie, learn how to play. They were like, we're winning this game and we're not losing because you're a dumbass. I mean, like, you know, you better figure out what we're doing. Oh, seriously. So he's got to allow these young guys to still make some mistakes and, you know, but grow, but you can't allow a ton of mistakes. LeBron may have to have more patience now than he's ever had before to allow these kids. But then again, show them how to win, though. Don't show them how to put up numbers. You got to learn how to win.
But Kevin, you know, you talk about patience. Great players don't really have patience.
No, I ain't got time.
I mean,
for that.
exactly. They don't have time. Isaiah don't have time for that. Larry and Kevin don't. I mean, like, literally, he's going to have an expectation for them to get it and get it right away.
Agreed.
And so it's going to be interesting on the patience side. And then a couple things. Ken, you made a great point earlier. Expectations. You know, when he went to Miami, when he went back to Cleveland, he's like the savior. You know, he's he's going to bring a championship, although Miami had won a championship prior, but it was just, and like in LA, there's an expectation that we're going to have a great player.
Right. Yeah.
Like, okay, order has been restored. And so that's an interesting dynamic. But then also, too, just like you said, playing with guys now who all of a sudden, a team that didn't have good shooting last year, and you don't surround him with good shooting. Right. Everywhere he's been, he's had good shooting around him. And then, you know, Chris and Dwayne and then Kyrie and Kevin, they were all all-stars when he joined forces with them. So they understood that responsibility of being an elite player. These young guys around him in LA, they have potential, but they're a long way from being at that level. So patience, to your point. It's going to be interesting to see how he manages this season and manages this team.
And then, Chris, I got to ask you a question, because I thought that year that he came, you guys all joined forces in Miami. Mm-hmm. I thought until you played in Cleveland, until you went to Cleveland, it seemed like you guys didn't have an attitude of who you were. You didn't know who you were, you know, with LeBron.
Yeah, well, I think it all just came in like, yeah, this is going to be fun. We're going to win basketball. Then we come in and get together. We've got our play calling. We've got everything down. And you get an atmosphere. You can't hear anything. We're not a team yet.
Yeah.
We don't have, it's something that and especially me coming from Toronto, I didn't experience that stuff. Maybe LeBron and Dwayne did, but me, I was kind of stuck in the headlights a little bit. So it took at least 20 games to get that adjustment. And by then, by the time we came to Cleveland, we saw how the difference is in between being liked and disliked. And I mean a capital diss on there. One of the interesting things, and you guys know how Lakers fans are.
Right.
You know, patience is not in their vocabulary.
No.
You know, so they want to win now. The fans and the fan base, they're going to expect winning now. They're not going to have time for patience. And it does take time,
Man, look,
you know, for teams to gel.
I've always been the man next to the man. I needed a guy that was impatient, that would look down at the bench and go, Rudy, take him out.
Yeah.
Tell the coach to take him out.
Uh-huh.
Like, to me, that's what a superstar is. Like, he doesn't have that patience. So now I'm on my antennas are up, I'm focused in, I'm locked in every possession. So now it raises my game playing with a guy like Kevin McHale, Isaiah Thomas, Grant Hill, Chris Bosh. That raised my game. Then there's guys who, when they get put on the spotlight and impatient by the superstar, they wilt. They move back. They don't want to be part of that. Some guys next to the man want that responsibility but just can't get it, and they need somebody to push them, and some guys don't want any of that.
Well, if you don't like the spotlight, being LeBron's teammate in LA doesn't seem like the place to be.
Oh, no.
Lots more show coming here on Open Court.
You ever go in certain neighborhoods and all the houses look the same? That's what's starting to look like to me. There is no diversity of skill set. I think that's where the league will change, because I don't think that's good for the league where everything looks the same.